Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Um, Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Fitriani Bakri, and I'm here to present my article under the title Zone of Proximal Development in Teaching English Poetry and an Overview in Indonesian Higher Education Context. Me, Fitriani Bakri, and my co-authors are M. Basri and Sharifuddin Dolla. I'm starting my presentations by presenting the background first. In the background, we see that there is a fact that conventional methods have dominated the teaching of poetry in many non-native nations, including in our country, Indonesia, for many years. Teachers will teach about topics that can help students prepare for a specific exam, but they will not encourage them to voice their own opinions with their peers or teachers. That's we call conventional methods. We have to see that the fundamental goal of teaching literature in Indonesia universities undergraduate departments is to familiarize students with diverse literary genres and as a result to expose them to the social, cultural, literary and intellectual backgrounds of other countries. That's the fundamental goals of teaching literature in Indonesia, especially in higher education. While teachers in approaching literature, in approaching uh, literary teaching, differs slightly. There is a similar thread running through all. Teachers who use traditional methods to think poetry devote the majority of their class time to extrinsic qualities of literary texts, conveying biographical, historical, aesthetic, and philosophical information to students. By memorizing the critical reviews of the poems, a huge number of students will be able to pass the final exam. Those activities we state as um, conventional methods. Why we state them as a conventional method or traditional method? Because teachers only teach poetry uh, from the majority spectacles, extrinsic qualities, not teach them how to enjoy the poetry, how to get uh, meaning of the poetry deeper. From those kinds of activity, as a result, many students raised in this manner will become enthusiastic poetry readers when they graduate from the college. How many students can get this kind of enthusiastic poetry after teaching them poetry by the conventional method? The fact is, many of them will undoubtedly find their literary lessons to be tedious, dull, or uninteresting. Why we say that? Because we teach them conventional methods, we teach them how to memorize many points, we teach them um, to get many informations and memorize that critical view of the poem. That's that makes them pass the final exam, only to pass the final exam. That's why they feel uninterested to uh, learn poetry. Now, our study aims to examine zone of proximal development in teaching English poetry in Indonesian higher education context. Our study is trying um, to get closer to the teaching poetry strategy by using or by negotiating or by implementing uh, one notion from Vygotsky that's called zone of proximal development. Vertical concepts. CPD expressed Vygotsky's perspective on the role of instruction and assessment in general. Um, Vygotsky research focused on determining how learners uh, grow and actually this emphasize on process. This is definitions of CPD by Vygotsky as the distance between a child's actual developmental level as determined by independent problem solving and a higher level of potential development by and as determined by problem solving under adult guidance or in collaboration with more peers who are competent. That's all zone of proximal development. You see, the concept of zone of proximal development whose accuracy is supported by noticeable positive shifts in students' achievement when opportunities are more suitable, such as when students are learning with a more intelligent partner. So the surroundings or the environment of the students in the class supported by many things, including um, opportunities to ask questions, opportunities to discuss with the teachers, with the peers, with others. That's the environment of CPD need to make our students enjoy learning, including enjoy learning poetry. In our research method, in order to respond to the exploration issue, we use qualitative studies. The purpose of this analysis is to examine the notion of zone of proximal development in English poetry class. The research question is, how does teacher implement the notion of zone of proximal development in English poetry class? Literature reviews from national and international periodicals, as well as e-books and theses, are used by researchers to collect the data. Findings. A research conducted by Dumas et al. 2021 entitled The Zone of Proximal Creativity, What Dynamic Assessment of Critical Thinking Reveals About Students' Latent Class Membership. The finding revealed that divergent thinking is a domain general mental characteristic that is closely linked to creativity. Divergent thinking in case is flexible in response to very basic contextual inputs, according to previous studies. Furthermore, the degree to which individual students' divergent thinking is flexible varies significantly, implying the existence of a student-specific zone of proximal development in relation to creativity. One point here, when we touch the ZPD of a student, the result is we will have that you must say that divergent thinking and relation to the creativity of a student. Second, according to the study of Bishop 2021, Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, an evaluated tool for language learning and social development in early childhood education. The idea of this research is about scaffolding. Scaffolding was examined in relation to the Vygotskian concept of the zone of proximal development. Scaffolding makes teacher intervention in learning simple to understand. It might be a hindrance rather than a support of children's growth depending on the context. Teachers will be more creative and knowledgeable if they have a better understanding of the scaffolding. Scaffolding means the help from the surroundings of the students, maybe from the teachers, maybe from the kids. But in this research, they talk about scaffolding from the teachers. Teachers will give scaffold, will scaffold the teacher will give help to students, and after they give the scaffold, they they see that the student can solve the problem by themselves. They um, how to say they pull off the scaffold. They will not give scaffold anymore because they see the teachers see the students independently. After they become independent, they will not give scaffold anymore. Here, teachers, according to Mellin in Clubslate 2014, must take into account writerly viewpoint, leadership difficulties, and performance characteristics when teaching poetry in the classroom. By by knowing and implementing the notion of CPD, the goal of learning poetry is to see the intricate relationship between the universal and the particular in the mind's life rather than dismissing the abstract and general. Coming to the conclusion, it can be concluded that teachers must consider the writer's point of view, leadership issues, and also performance characteristics when teaching poetry in the classroom. Furthermore, um, when seeing the sound of proximal development in an English poetry class, teachers should concentrate on three key points, three key components that will assist a student go through the zone of proximal development. That's we call scaffolding, more knowledgeable others, and student interaction. I think uh, that's all my presentations, our presentation for today. Hopefully, our presentation today will give you insights, a new insight, or new information about uh, CPD, about zone of proximal development in practicing teaching, especially in teaching English poetry in higher education. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.